Hey everybody, good morning. It's Whitney LaBrie. It's quite early over here in my house. Everybody that lives here is sleeping. I'm getting ready for work, and so I need my much needed coffee, which is not quite yet pouring. But anyway, I thought I would talk about today's project. So I don't know about you, but I love the idea of breakfast in bed. But hear me out. What if your bed was breakfast? Would you eat your way out? I know I would. Now, I love pancakes, I love bacon, I love all of the traditional US breakfast type foods. If you're from the US, let me know your favorite breakfast foods. Now, I know a lot of my viewers are not from the US, and I'm curious, what are your go-to breakfast items in the countries where you live? Today's project was inspired by this photo that my mom sent me. And the minute I saw it, I knew for some reason I had to have it in miniature. So I'm gonna get to my coffee. You guys get to today's delicious project. So good. To begin this project, I need to make sure that I make a mattress size that is a regular 12 scale mattress size. So I have this one here that belongs to another bed, so I just popped it off. And then I used some cardboard from an old Amazon box to make a stencil. This way I can glue that to my foam and cut out the right sizes basically. Now, if you don't have a mattress and you want to do something crazy like this project, the measurements that I'm going to be using are 5 inches wide and about 6 1/4 deep. And that'll basically give you about a full-size bed. Now, I'm going to use my foam cutter. This tool has really become a staple for me. If you watch my show, of course, I do use a lot of trash foam, and I made the DeLorean out of the foam, and I made a fireplace, a couple other different projects. Anyway, it's just been fantastic. I'll go ahead and put the link, the Amazon link of the one that I purchased in the description if you're interested in purchasing one for yourself. I should make 2 stencils out of cardboard, and the reason I make these stencils is because it really helps guide the foam cutter. Some people I've seen online just cut their foam. I mean, they're just like magic wands and they make these beautiful cuts. I'm not to that point yet. And so cutting out this little cardboard piece is the way to go, honestly, if you're not very good at it or if you're just learning. Now, a lot of the times I'll use trash foam, and when I say trash foam, that's just literally foam pieces that come out of packaging. But in this case, this was a store-bought foam that I have. Now, I bought it for something else, so it is leftover, but I'm gonna go ahead and use it for this project. It is a really long piece of foam. As far as cutting it in front of the camera, it was super difficult for me to do, but I managed. So it's gonna probably be a lot of arm in the view because I'm trying to get in front of the camera, but also get a pretty good grip on that foam to make sure that I at least cut it correctly. And then I hot glued those 2 pieces of foam together. This is going to be a platform bed that you can kind of see there in the picture. It's going to be mostly all pancakes and then just a little bit of a raised platform on the bottom. I'm also taking that into consideration when I'm talking about the height of the bed. So now I'm going to change out my foam cutter. It has a smaller little tool that's just a straight edge, or like a pencil. Looks a little bit like a metal pencil or pen. And I'm going to start grouting out or carving out the little pancakes on the side, and trying also to kind of curve the edges so it won't be exactly a rectangle shape. It'll have a little bit of a curved edge that you can kind of see in the photo. Although I actually wind up not giving it quite so much of the curve that we see there. Okay, and again, I did not make really great edges. I did not make really great lines. Practice makes perfect, and I am very far from perfect currently in using these tools, but I do love them, and I think that's still going to be really fun. The next product that I'm going to show you today is called Foam Putty, and this is a brand new product for me, and I wish I had known about it when I did the DeLorean, because this is supposed to go over your foam, and they have different kinds, which I didn't realize. So they have this one, which is just a foam putty. This is going to go over the really tight fitted foam. And then they actually have another one for the type of foam that's kind of almost crispy to the touch, if I If I say that, I hope that makes sense to you. And so, but this is the one that I want because this is the one I've made this bed out of, and also the one I made the DeLorean out of. So it says that you can putty it on or just use your fingers, and I'm kind of like a use your finger kind of person. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put this all over the bed. I'm not gonna put it on super thick because this is a sandable, paintable product. So I'm gonna just go ahead and try to smooth out some of those edges. And in anywhere that I made a mistake where I maybe cut foam that I shouldn't, I'm gonna fill in that area too. And then hopefully the end result here will look pretty good. So I'll let that dry. It did take definitely more than an hour to fully dry. So once it is completely dry and all nice and crispy, it looks like a block of icing to me. And I guess I'm just starving all the time. I don't know why everything is food lately for me, but anyway, there it is. And I'm just gonna take like a medium grit sandpaper, and I'm gonna take this outside, and I would definitely suggest you do that too, unless you're working in a station somewhere like a garage or your station's outdoors, because this stuff really gets very powdery and it's super messy. I just sanded it down. I try to make it as smooth as possible. I really try to curve the edges and get in those little grout lines to make it look like it's a stack of pancakes. Now, one area I did mess up when I sanded, so I had to put that foam putty back in that area and then let that dry again. The downfall of the learning curve, but it worked out okay, and I think it's going to be really good once it's all painted. Using acrylic paints, I'm going to start off with a base coat called buttermilk, which seems to make perfect sense since we're making pancakes. Now, I'm not really waiting for that buttermilk to fully dry because I do want to do a little bit of blending. So I'm going to be using a chocolate color and then an antique gold to get that buttery gold color on the top of my pancakes. So I'm just going to go ahead and paint all this in, leaving a little bit of a buttermilk edge. That didn't really take me that long, but I did want to really make sure that I blended well to get the buttermilk color on the outside, and then the crispier brown, and then the golden center. And of course, I'm not painting all the way to the very edge at the top part because that's going to be where the sheets are. I also added in brown in between the layers so that you could see that there's more than one pancake. And then you can kind of see that my pancakes are a little bit more rectangle than in the picture. If I redid these ever, I would definitely do a more rounded edge than I've done here, but I think that the overall concept is still there. The other thing I did is I highlighted the edging with a lighter finish than the buttermilk called sand, and it just highlighted those edges, give it a little bit of a white color. So now the next thing I want to do is start adding some fabrics. I do have a off-white piece of fabric here. This is just like a quarter cut that I bought at Joann's Fabric. And I'm going to go ahead and cut that down. I'm just hot gluing this down, and this is just going to act as like a top sheet. And as I'm gluing it down, I'm just making sure that I'm really pulling that fabric nice and tight. And to let you know, I did hot iron the fabric prior just to get out any creases and wrinkles to make it a little bit more manageable to use also. And then what I did is to give it that look of the top sheet being folded over. I just cut out another piece of fabric and I pre-folded it so that way when I glue it on top, it'll give the look as a top sheet, being nicely folded over on a well-made bed. The way that I'm gluing it, you won't see the glue, you'll just see the sheet itself. What I would like to do now is create the platform bed, and I really want to do this very simple because I'm just using all of these very simple products. So I'm going to use the rest of the Amazon box that I had. This what came in the center of the box, so it doesn't have print on either side. I just cut it down to meet the needs of the size of the bed. So I have a little bit of a headboard there and then the platform, and I'm just going to glue these pieces of cardboard directly to my bed and then one on the bottom. I do want it to be slightly lifted, so I'm taking a little bit of some wood trim and I'm cutting down 3 pieces and staining them with some stain pens and then gluing them to the bottom. That's going to raise that platform up just a little bit. All right, now let's get to my favorite part, which of course is the bacon. The bacon fabric, I looked at a lot of different I say a lot. I looked at 2 different places. I looked at my fabric store in town, which is like Fabric Town USA. They had a lot of really fun fabrics, but they didn't have bacon. Then I went to Joann's Fabrics as well. They didn't have any bacon either. And so I did wind up buying this online, and it was not inexpensive for a quarter cut. It was like $16, which I think is outrageous, but I needed bacon, and so I did purchase it. I broke down and bought it. I am going to put the link down below because it was the only fabric that I could find that had these bacon slices in the sizes that I needed. And of course, if you are just having to make a pancake and bacon bed in the way that I had to make it for some reason, at least you'll know where to find your bacon fabric. These two white pillows are part of my stash I had already. For the bacon, they were kind of too short, and they just, when I sat one on top of the bed, they didn't really hang over the edges like what I wanted. And so I did put two together, and I used my iron and some heat bond to glue them together basically. Now I do have an entire video on my no-sew pillows and no-sew comforters, and I'll go ahead and link that in the description. So the bed has 2 bacon strips, and then it has 3 bacon pillows. So I made 2 regular kind of rectangle pillows, and then I made a little roll bacon too and added a little ribbon to the end. So we'll go ahead and add it. And you guys, that is it. We have now a breakfast bed. So I don't know about you. Did I need a bed like this? Absolutely not. But did I have to have a bed like this in miniature? Absolutely I did. So let me know in the comments below, what is something that you want to create that for some reason is just a have to have for you? Is it a bacon pancake bed? Is it something else super odd that no one else would need in miniature, but you absolutely want one for your dollhouse or your room box that you're creating? Let me know in the comments below. And let me know, would you want breakfast in bed, or would you love to eat your way out of bed every morning? Well, anyway, I do hope that you enjoyed this project this week. I did love making bacon pillows, I can't deny. If you haven't already subscribed, to go ahead and do so, or don't, whatever you want. But definitely do something else for me. If you don't want to subscribe, give me a thumbs up and leave me a comment. Love to hear from you. You guys have a great rest of your week, and I will definitely see you next time. Bye!